They told workers that they could not talk about the union at work, which is illegal. They suspended and fired pro-union employees for their union support.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Down in Alabama, we have our own Amazon campaign, of course. The first election was last year. The pro-union workers lost the vote by a pretty significant margin, about 2-1. But because Amazon just could not help but break the law, the election was set aside and another election was called. The election this time was significantly closer, barely 100 votes spread, 900-something no votes to 800-something yes votes. But there are 400 challenged ballots. 400 challenged ballots. It's unlikely that those ballots would change the results. A hearing will be set by the NLRB to determine how many, or if those ballots are going to be opened. But man, that is a lot closer. And that reflects what I was told by Amazon workers here in Alabama throughout the campaign, that the feel in the warehouse was different this time, that there was a lot more support than last time, and you could see the support this time. Actually, there was a certain change in tactics this time from last time, because when they were organizing in the summer of 2020, that was a weird time, right? I think that people really kind of forget how it felt before we had vaccines, before we knew more about the virus. It was just a weird time to be organizing and to be doing such an unprecedented campaign. So there was a certain change in tactics. They did begin doing house calls more. There was more conversations with workers. There was more, workers were wearing RWDSU shirts and lanyards and vote yes pins in the facility. Hundreds and hundreds of workers were willing to take photos and post them on social media explaining why they were voting yes to unionize. And the need to unionize, to have some say over how the work is done in Alabama and across the country, but specifically in Alabama, how fast it's done, was underscored in the weeks leading up to the end of the election, when Amazon forced workers to continue working during a gas leak and forced them to stay at work during a tornado. One worker commented from Alabama that it could have been Illinois all over again, where 6 Amazon workers were killed by corporate greed. They were made to continue working in a building during a tornado that, as it turns out, did not even meet building codes. So the need to have a voice, to take some power away from management, is underscored every day in Amazon facilities, where Amazon employees are 5 times more likely to get musculoskeletal injuries than at other warehouse jobs. Unfortunately, though, in Alabama, they did come up short. Like last year, Amazon could not help but break the law. Unlike last time, their interference in the election may have made the difference, with the margin being so small. So, so that makes it all the more determinative, them breaking the law. Let's throw that graphic up. Kim Kelly reported that that RWDSU filed 21 objections over Amazon's conduct during the Bessemer, Alabama union election, charging that Amazon interfered with workers' right to vote in a free and fair election. The union has requested a hearing over these charges and the 416 challenged ballots. Of the objections to the election, RWDSU alleges that there was that the company illegally removed union literature from neutral areas, which is a protected right. They allowed anti-union literature to be hung while saying pro-union literature couldn't be, which is illegal. They told workers that they could not talk about the union at work, which is illegal. They surveilled organizers as they were making house calls. They suspended and fired pro-union employees for their union support. And there's more. There was 21 objections, so there's a lot, but those were some of the highlights. So RWDSU is not going anywhere. They're gunning for round 3, and if the bosses didn't want them around, and they thought that they could get away with winning a free and fair election, then they shouldn't have broken the law. They shouldn't have broken the law. But they just can't help themselves. We had a question in the chat. Do you think that ALU, let's see, where was that? I remember reading it a little while ago. But do you think that ALU would be a better fit for the Bessemer Amazon than the bigger ones, than RWDSU trying to organize it? And I just don't know. I think ultimately
that's up to them. That's up to the workers at Amazon ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that it's up to the workers at Amazon. I think that I think that
maybe there's collaboration opportunities too. I mean, that can be expanded now that ALU has this victory, and maybe after 2 elections with RWDSU, I hope there's some conversations between the two groups on how they can help each other move forward.
Yes. Yeah, I hope so. And look,
I think there are.
RWDSU, I do think there are. But look, RWDSU, they have invested in this campaign. They've proven that they're not just some outside group that is only doing this for clout or something.
It's not a fly-by-night operation.
No, it's not a fly-by-night operation. They have invested a couple $1 million at this point into the campaign. And so, and they are the union that the Amazon workers in Bessemer wanted to go with. They decided not to form an independent union. They decided to come to RWDSU to organize with them. So, I think that that's their decision, but I do think that, I think that RWDSU is a good union. I think that the folks that are involved in in that union effort are, I think that they've got good motivations. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.